Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. 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 Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Mr. Shipman's class. Today I'm giving you a special presentation of Mr. Shipman's Kindergarten Chronicles, The Field Day. You will listen to a special audio presentation. Again, thank you from people from all over the world from listening to Mr. Shipman's class. I truly do appreciate it. I hope you get your copy of Mr. Shipman's class soon. We're available at Amazon, Walmart.com, Target, Barnes & Noble, and of course, www.terrenceshipman.com. Thank you very much, and ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Shipman's Kindergarten Chronicles, The Field Day.
Mr. Shipman's Kindergarten Chronicles, The Field Day, by Dr. Terrence Shipman. Narrated by Zaire Shipman.
Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. 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 Yay!
Banicia stepped into the backyard and saw her brother, Dewayne, a kindergartner, running. "Dewayne, what are you doing?" she asked. "I'm practicing for Field Day on Friday," he replied, looking up at his big sister, who was in the 5th grade. "Mr. Shipman has been practicing with us for a while, and I have to be ready. I'm the captain," he smiled. "Wow, man, you look like a superstar," she cheered. "I remember Field Day in Mr. Shipman's class. It was one of the best days of the year." The PE teacher, Coach Binford, told us about Field Day. Mr. Shipman smiled when Coach explained all the fun we'd have and said, "We'll be ready." The entire school year, we never had a recess like other classes. Mr. Shipman would have us running relay races and throwing balls, jumping rope, and dribbling basketballs. I remember one day, Tatiana asked him, "Why do we have to do different things in other classes?" "You're getting in shape, little one," he smiled. "You have to get your mind and body in shape." Banicia walked over to the swing and sat down. Dewayne followed her and jumped into the swing seat next to her and began swinging slowly, back and forth. "Tell me about the Field Day in Mr. Shipman's class." Banicia laughed. "We practiced a lot before Field Day too. I loved when we raced against the big kids. Everyone would be on the playground. Mr. Shipman would set up a race against the big kids. We knew how to run a relay race from practicing. They didn't. We would start off losing, then Hayden, the fastest kid in kindergarten, would catch up and run right past them. That boy was fast." Dewayne slammed his feet down, stopping the swing and looking at his sister. "I bet I could beat him." "Sure you could, brother," Banicia said with a smile and continued on telling him about the Field Day in Mr. Shipman's class. The week of Field Day, we would practice a lot of the events. My favorite was the tug of war against Mr. Shipman. She laughed, looking at Dewayne. We were scared at first. We pulled and tugged as hard as we could, and he would move a little our way, then he'd pull us back on his side. Then he'd let us pull real hard and pull him in a whole lot, and then she said, leaning towards Dewayne, with a knowing smile on her face, Then he let go of the rope and started laughing as we all fell to the ground. Banicia just smiled and kept telling him about the fun she had in Mr. Shipman's class on field day. The day before field day, he told us to eat spaghetti or pizza that night and drink plenty of water. I was so excited I could hardly sleep that night. When I got to school the next day, there was excitement in the air. All the classes had on different colored t-shirts with field day on them. I got to class, and there were no t-shirts for our class. Jacob asked, "Hi, Mr. Shipman, where are our shirts?" Mr. Shipman was at his desk doing morning attendance and just said, "You'll get them soon enough, Jacob." Once we all got there, Mr. Shipman smiled excitedly, but spoke quietly. "Go in the hallway, please." He went back in the room and closed the door after we'd all left the room and lined up in the hall. Then we heard music started playing, the kind of music from a blockbuster movie. The door sprung open, and Mr. Shipman said, "Come in, Team Shipman." At each of our desks was a yellow t-shirt. Our last name and our team number was on the back. On the front of each shirt was a TS for Team Shipman, and each shirt had a different design. We were so excited. David started taking off his shirt, but Mr. Shipman stopped him and told him to do that in the restroom. Dewayne laughed and imagined the boy trying to take off his shirt in front of the class. Once we were all dressed, we lined up to head out to field day. The flag holders were Summer, Autumn, Serafina, and Jamarcus. Jamarcus carried the United States flag. Everyone got quiet, waiting to see who was going to carry the Team Shipman shield. Mr. Shipman chose Tiffany. She led the class out onto the field. Banicia got up and sat in the grass in front of Dewayne as she talked. As we came out, Coach Benford had World Games music playing. Everyone cheered as we took our places on the field. We started on field 2 and did great on the boot run, water balloon toss, bucket run, but our best event was the over-under relay. Then we moved into the gym next. She paused and looked up at her little brother, shaking her head slowly. It didn't go so good at first. We lost the first 2 events. The plank walk was next, and we knew we could win it. Mr. Shipman told Mesa, Clifford, Alicia, and Cameron to get ready to go in. "Mr. Shipman, I don't want to do this. Let someone else. I'm scared," cried Clifford. "Bud," Mr. Shipman called Clifford Bud. "You're part of this team. You're not going to sit by me all day. Get out there and give it your best." And they did. They went out there and played hard, and we cheered them on to 3rd place. The last event before lunch was a basketball dribble. Now, Mr. Shipman put the best people out there, and I was the anchor. Banicia said, and then bragged, "It wasn't even close. Y'all won because you were the captain, Banicia." Dewayne cheered. "Yeah," Banicia giggled. "We won, and then we went to lunch. We ate in the classroom. Mr. Shipman played relaxing music, people laughed, and some even laid down on the carpet." The final events took place on field 1. David won the baseball throw. Joseph placed second in the high jump, and Alicia got first. Banicia rubbed her hands together with anticipation and said, "The tug of war was next, and we were ready." We won the first round, but so did Mrs. Raglan's class. As we got ready for the final round, Mr. Shipman looked at us, smiling and pumping his fists in the air, and said, "Go get 'em!" It was a great match. They pulled, we pulled. They tugged, we tugged. And they pulled us 2 feet. Then Leodria yelled, "Use your legs, Team Shipman!" And we pulled as hard as we could. We dug in and pulled with everything we had. And they fell one by one. But we kept pulling. Then the flag crossed our cone and we won! Dewayne clapped and then sat quietly for a moment before he asked, "Did y'all do running races?" "Of course we did," she joked. The final events were the running events, and it seemed like the entire school came out to see us run. We got first in the girls' and boys' 50-yard dash. Hayden won the boys' 100-yard dash, but Shuri got second for the girls. The mixed team relay race was last. Everyone was cheering as we took first and second place. Then we took a group picture with our parents. "Wow! I can't wait until Friday. I can't wait till field day in Mr. Shipman's class," Dewayne yelled. "Banicia, can you come watch me?" "I'll see if Mama and I can come." "Thank you, Banicia. I love you," he said, jumping out of the swing seat and hugging his sister.
Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. 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 Yay!
The end. This has been a recording of Mr. Shipman's Kindergarten Chronicles, The Field Day, written by Dr. Terrence Shipman, narrated by Zaire Shipman.